So if I can just get a first and last name and what you do for the Hawkeye Marching Band.
My name is Nathan Topping. I'm a second year here at the University of Iowa. I play trumpet, and that's basically my role in the marching band.
You said that you were a victim personally of some of the stuff that happened in Ames. Do you want to talk about some of the things that happened?
Oh yeah, I'll talk about it. So Hawkeye Marching Band has a tradition of doing this series, which is something we do in DeKinnick every day. We also do it in other visiting stadiums too. This is the same case for Ames. On the way marching into Ames, we repeated this about 7 or 8 times. And at one of the points, we are directly in front of the visitor side. But if you're looking on like Google Maps, for example, it's like S6, S7 if you're looking at like specific lots. Anyway, we're going through the tailgating section, and then there's, if you don't know, there's a section in it where the marching band breaks up and like moves around and stuff like that. And during that break, I went to go jump up, and immediately I was hit with a beer bottle, and a bruise ended up right on my arm for that. So that's basically just like what I experienced. I also experienced different shoving going into the stadium. On the way out of the stadium, we were escorted very quickly out by the security there as well. Afterwards, as we were being rushed out, instead of being in our like normal, if you're looking at spacing, 4 lines going out of the stadium, there are so many people outside the stadium, we got squished down to basically like the equivalent of 2 lines. And that's where a lot of, like, if you've heard anything about it, there's been a lot of like accidents and stuff like that. There was one student who ended up needing medical attention after the incident during that. I can't go into specifics of names or anything like that, but that's basically the gist of what happened.
Sure. So how did these incidents get to Gary Barta, and how soon did the reports get to him after Saturday?
So initially, we didn't start doing it. Nothing was open up until Monday when our director asked us for information relating to the incidents that occurred. He was very vague. He was just going at the discretion of the athletics department. He was responsible for getting the info, and then the athletics kind of took over at that point after he gathered most of the info. At that point, I submitted pictures and like a testimony of what happened to myself at that point. And that's the point where pretty much Gary Barta and like the upper athletic department took over for that.
So did you only talk to Gary Barta when you talked to those higher level officials, or did you speak with others?
Actually, I didn't end up speaking with anyone. No one directly came to me and talked to me like before anything was released. The only thing I submitted was an email to Dr. Bush, which he forwarded to the athletic department for investigation.
So no higher level officials regarding with Iowa or the police officials that were there came to you and asked for your side?
Yeah, no one ended up contacting me up to this point.
What do you think the university should have done to make the band feel as though this investigation was at least thoroughly completed?
Well, at this point, they have announced that, based on reports, I don't know what this will mean for the future, but they've said that there has been no more investigation, but there has clearly been incidents that still need to be further investigated, such as myself. And that's why I've decided to come forward and to talk about things that have been happening, because I'm feeling comfortable sharing my personal information, and I can share some information about the incidents that I saw and that occurred that aren't currently being reported. And I think it's really important for people to understand what actually happened, and that this just wasn't just a normal fight between schools. This was something more aggressive than normal.
So do you feel this has been swept under the rug, and if so, why?
I feel like they definitely could have done a better job of responding to it. I know the initial statements were vague on purpose, as to not confuse the public about what was actually going on at that point. But at the same time, I don't think Barta and Pollard were quite understanding what was actually happening at the band at the exact time, because like I said, they never came to me and discussed like my perspective from what actually happened, even though I reported something that actually happened with that.
Is that what you think would have helped Pollard and Barta be able to handle this incident better?
Yes, because I believe they definitely can do a better job, and it's more of the trust between that the marching band has and the athletic department has. So in this instance, up until this point, we've had full trust in the athletic department to keep us responsible, keep us safe at all the football games and other events that the band goes to. But because of this incident, it has put us at like more of a tension between the actual marching band and the athletic department at the time. And so now we're seeing this distrust between athletics and band, and that's just something a lot of people have been frustrating with, because we wholeheartedly believe that they keep us safe, and they just haven't. Our director, Dr. Eric Bush, has done a phenomenal job of gathering data and making sure everyone's safe. Like, I would not put any blame on top of our director, because he is probably one of the most kind and generous people I know.
Do these kinds of incidents happen at other visiting stadiums in your experience?
Not to the extreme. For example, I went to the Purdue game last year, and afterwards, if you remember, Purdue fans ended up storming the field afterwards. And of course, it took us a while to get on, but I would say that was not nearly severe. Like, it was pretty much the normal banter between like rival schools and stuff at that event. We had people like jeering at us, making mean comments at us, but nothing like physically violent that occurred at Iowa State. What's unique about Iowa State is it's the culmination of the last couple of years, because believe it or not, this is not like the first time that this has been happening. This has been an ongoing issue all across the nation, not just with Iowa as well, of bands reporting violence against them for just simply coming to a game. And that's like the culmination of why we're so frustrated with them sweeping under the rug, is because this is becoming a really large issue that no one seems to be noticing that well.
Do you have any final messages you'd like to say to the Iowa Athletic Department and or the public, who obviously doesn't seem to know too much about this?
Yeah, the public, just personally, don't accept any rumors that you don't know are 100% true. I stated exactly what I know today and what happened, but beyond that, I'm not going to speculate what happened. I do believe the athletic department will eventually do the right thing in supporting the band, but for the moment, the distrust has grown between athletics and the marching band. It can be repaired over time, but it's just something that we need to work on to make sure that our band members are safe. Also, I just like to say that our band director shouldn't have no like major responsibility, just because he did everything as he was told and was supposed to do, and he was very supporting of the band. But overall, we just need to work on like the proper response from athletics.